Alrighty, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the coverage of the Indy Pro. I'm Saunch, as always. Welcome back to another episode on BNN. If you find yourself enjoying my style of bodybuilding news coverage, consider subscribing and let me know your thoughts on the Indy Pro so far in the comment sections below. I am a little under the weather, so I do apologize if my energy is off, but a phenomenal top six as we're looking at it right now. Now, something that I thought was very interesting was Justin Rodriguez, the favorite to win this show, to do very well, is going to be landing in potentially third place after prejudging. That's the way the judges have made it line up. The big story beyond Justin Rodriguez maybe not being 100%, maybe he's getting ready for the New York Pro, is Blessing Awodibu versus, Charles Griffen. These are some photos of Blessing Awodibu last year, New York Pro, top six, and here at the Indy Pro, I believe third place, but of course, correct me in the comment sections if I'm wrong on that one. This is him during his prejudging posing routine. I did think it was weird, strange that they didn't have their own posing music. They just kind of did their routine to whatever music the DJ played. So a small critique, Dave, but no big deal. Blessing Awodibu, I thought looked phenomenal. The commentators, Bob Ciccarello and Misfit, they both were talking about how Maxx Charles, Blessing Awodibu is very, very improved from last year. Looking at the photos we just put up for you, I can see a little bit of thickness being added in the back and the legs, but overall, there's something about his presentation, about his flow. It's almost as if the very tiny midsection takes away from his physique. If he was just a little bit more complete, I think he'd have a much better chance comparing better to the other competitors. He's really in his own league for his physique. There also was a lot of conversation talking about he had the best midsection on stage. You can see perfectly right now the overdeveloped obliques on the sides really spilling over the posing trunks. Now, I don't particularly like that look, but you can't deny that Blessing's midsection is superb. Very sharp, very dialed in. It's blown out a little bit on the sides, but not as much as some of the other competitors. No disrespect, obviously. But I think he's going to do very well in this show. He's, in my opinion, in the top two. Definitely in the top two, battling it out with Charles Griffen. And we'll talk about Charles Griffen in a second. But there also was, you got to check out the live stream, guys. I don't want to show you too much footage, but you're going to see right here as they're kind of getting into the front double and the front lat and front relaxed, all that stuff. Blessing Awodibu is very vocal on the stage this year. He's definitely confident, more confident than last year. He's an Instagram guy, Instagram bodybuilder. He talks a lot, but we'll talk about that more in a second here. As we move into Charles Griffen, here's some shots from him. Tampa Pro, and then also the Olympia from 2018 all the way on the right. And something about Charles Griffen, he's very consistent with his conditioning. The muscle density, the muscle maturity is superb. If I was judging this show, I'd have Maxx Charles just because I prefer his structure a little bit more than Blessing's. Blessing's is, like I said, he's in his own league of his own. He's in his own league compared to these other gentlemen on the stage. But I can't speak more highly about Charles Griffen and what he's been able to bring here. Very conditioned. There is another gentleman that is going to be placing, maybe 6 or 7, Brent Swansen in his pro debut. We're not going to talk about him in this video. We'll talk about him in the second call out, but very impressive conditioning. And I just wanted to give him that heads up, give him that courtesy. But definitely go check out the live stream, guys. Indy, ifbb, indypro.com/ppv, Papa Victor -stream. It's $10. No big deal, guys. $10, and you support the Indy Pro, you support bodybuilding, do our part, and support the sport. But again, Charles Griffen, phenomenal conditioning, really brought an outstanding package here. Going back into this, potentially top 6, we have Brent Swansen, like we were just talking about, all the way on the right, looking phenomenal. Justin Rodriguez, someone who, we're going to talk about in a second. I definitely think he left the door open in terms of conditioning, in separation. We'll look at some photos from last year's New York Pro and last year's Indy Pro and the Arnold Classic and the Olympia. I'm not sure, I can't remember which photos I used, but he definitely left the door open, and it's going to show, I think, after prejudging, him landing in potentially third place behind a very sharp and conditioned Blessing versus Charles Griffin. Now, as we pull up these photos, this is where you start to see the difference. A lot of people were talking about his Arnold Classic being just a really good package. I think that it was a good package, but also the lighting was very complementary to complementary. I don't know if that's a word. Let me know down below. The lighting was very conducive to him looking very sharp, where here at the Indy Pro, a little darker, a different type of lighting, a darker backslash, good lighting, don't get me wrong here, very good lighting, but definitely is going to be complementing other people's physiques over other people's physiques. And, we talked about Justin Rodriguez leaving the door open here with the conditioning. You can see the glutes aren't as sharp, especially in the lower back. You can see the obliques kind of hanging out from the back. You really don't want to see that. He really needs to be cognizant. He needs to be aware of keeping that midsection tight, especially during the transitions. A lot of people forget that the judges are always looking. You need to keep your mind connected with your muscle, especially your midsection, your glutes, hamstrings, all that things. A wise man once told me you start every pose from the feet up. So spike the calves, make sure your calves are ready, your feet are planted solid, have the calves spiked, like I said, hamstrings, glutes, make sure everything's checked in. They were kind of joking around. Bob Ciccarello was joking that he doesn't understand why people touch the hamstrings. I think he was just making some jokes because it's very obvious that people want to make sure that they're contracting those hamstrings perfectly. Sometimes through injury, I know for me, especially with my bad hamstring on the right side, I definitely have some issues contracting the hamstring compared to maybe some other people. But again, some more cartoonish conversations and acting from Blessing Awodibu, bringing that Instagram fame to the stage. I think it's fun. I definitely didn't like during these transitions. He was late to the posing. He really was the last person to get into the shot. And he was just talking to the other competitors the whole time. Like, I don't know. Like, is there a place for that in bodybuilding? I don't know. I wasn't a big fan, but I'm going to check my own bias. He's probably one of the few remaining Redcon 1 athletes. And, we all know how garbage Redcon 1 is, using the military as a marketing tactic. And then, the company being ran by criminals. It's really disgusting to see, but hey, Blessing's getting paid probably a lot of money. Kai Green's getting paid a lot of money. So I do want to check my personal bias and my, somewhat negative thoughts towards Blessing. But overall, his conditioning and his shape, very impressive. Maxx Charles, probably landing in 4th place. I think that's a really good spot for him. The midsection is just not, it's very conditioned, but it's very blocky. The high lat inserts kind of take away from the physique. And, although he's really improved his legs, especially from the back, I still feel like it's something, there's something to be lacked in his physique. Now, when you put him next to other people, he definitely has, again, like him and Blessing have very interesting physiques. You can see here that Maxx Charles' obliques aren't, pouring out over the sides of his posing trunks. So, I would prefer that over a Blessing's midsection. But, also with Blessing's super high lat insertions, it kind of gives him a different look. Again, he has a look that really is not comparable to anybody else on the stage right now. Maxx Charles, we can say a lot about Maxx Charles. He actually has one of the longest posing routines here in the Indy Pro coming out of prejudging. He's very slow, very methodical, very articulate with his posing. He wants the judges to get a really good look at every shot. I don't think he's too biased on what shots he wants the judges to see. But yeah, guys, it's really impressive to see how Maxx Charles is doing in the show. Overall, I am just so tired, guys. Did not sleep very well last night, but I wanted to bring this content to you. I wanted to make sure I do my best to cover the Indy Pro, but I got a lot of symptoms right now. Not gonna lie, I got body aches. I'm having a hard time breathing. I got food right in front of me. I'm not even hungry. I tried working out this morning. I took my WTF by First Detachment Nutrition, and did not help, ladies and gentlemen. It did not help. I was definitely gassed. But let me know, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on the top 4 coming out of prejudging at this year's Indy Pro. There were a good handful of gentlemen that I was really surprised didn't do as well. We're not going to talk about them right now, but Diogo Nunes, I thought, looked really good from the upper body. He did have something lacking from the lower body, but he looked really good. Ross Flanigan had amazing conditioning. You might see him in the top 8 potentially. Eslam Mohamed scratched. He was unable to come because of travel issues. And then, there was also the Peter, who was unable to come to the show as well. So, a few people that weren't able to make it. If Eslam Mohamed would have made it, I definitely think he would have been maybe top 5, top 6. He'd actually be really comparable next to Blessing Awodibu. He has that really tiny midsection. And it looks really good. But looking at this top 6, again, you can't say, you can never say enough good things about Brent Swansen. Looked really good. He had really good conditioning coming out of prejudging. Dorian Haywood, we just had him on the channel. Check out his interview yesterday. He looked really good too. Good conditioning, good separation, kept the midsection in control, especially in the transitions. We talked about Justin Rodriguez, leaving the door open. And I think it's going to hurt him in placings. I don't expect him to come in top 3 or outside of the top 3, probably 3rd place, unless he really sharpens up for finals. And, if we look at the Boston Pro, we look at the Arnold Classic, that is definitely within the possibility. But I don't want to drag this on too long, guys. Check out the live stream. Like I said, they're talking a lot. Blessing talking a lot of smack. And, he should. He came into the show not being the favorite to win. Definitely top 3. And it looks like he's going to be, maybe 1 or 2. But we'll see. We'll see how sharp he stays coming into the finals. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for my coverage of the men's open first call out at this year's Indy Pro at the end of prejudging. Let me know what you want to see next, what classes you want to see covered in what order, and definitely consider subscribing if you enjoy my style of bodybuilding content coverage. Like I said, I'm Saunch, your host. As always, thanks for watching PNN, and I'll see you guys in the next one.